Another huge acquisition has been made. Welcome back to another video, guys. If you enjoy daily content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So we got another massive acquisition within the video game industry today, just recently announced, but this time coming from the PlayStation side, and that has to do with PlayStation acquiring Bungie for $3.6 billion. Now, to me, this is a very interesting acquisition. At first thought, you think, well, what does Bungie, how do they help PlayStation? Do they fit into their studios and all that type of stuff, especially with PlayStation preaching organic growth as one of their main ways of buying up smaller studios that have worked with them on multiple projects and then seeing if that relationship works and then going ahead and purchasing them and then building out different IPs from that. Whereas Bungie wouldn't be that type of move. This is more of a move that is completely different, and I think in general it is showing where we are going forward within the gaming industry. So firstly, I think this is actually a decent move by PlayStation for the fact that they don't have too many games as a service games within their first party studios. They don't have too many big multiplayer games where they're going to be able to put out there and have people subscribe to play, continuously buy in. A lot of their experiences are kind of one and done experiences where it's a single player, more of a linear style of game where you play through it and then you either resell it or you don't jump back in. So you're not going to be able to continuously make money off of those customers. Now with a game like Destiny 2, as we know, one of the biggest games of a service game out there, they're going to be able to use this IP to put in their repertoire for games as a service, online multiplayer, where they're going to be able to continuously get money from the players that are playing Destiny 2. Now, I'm sure they already do that. I mean, Destiny 2 has a huge community across multiple platforms, which is another big thing that they actually addressed right away within this announcement for this acquisition in terms of what's going to happen to Destiny 2. Is it going to stay multi-platform or is it going to just go to the PlayStation platform? And they say here, we remain in charge of our destiny. We will continue to independently publish and creatively develop our games. We will continue to drive one unified Bungie community. Our games will continue to be where our community is, wherever they choose to play. With SIE support, the most immediate change you will see is an acceleration in hiring talent across the entire studio to support our ambitious vision. If this speaks to you and you want to help us put a dent in the universe, we are hiring across all disciplines for Destiny 2 and for all new worlds beyond. So right there, you don't have to worry about it. If you're somebody that plays Destiny on PC, somebody plays on Xbox, this game is still going to remain multi-platform, which makes a ton of sense. Kind of reminds me of the Minecraft deal. There's absolutely no logical reason to pull Destiny away from the other platforms, with it being a game that's been there for a long time, has very established communities, and they would already be making tons of money from all of these different communities. They don't want to cut off that revenue. Now, when it comes to the acquisition, how it came about and all that type of stuff, Christopher Dring here from GameIndustry.biz has some information directly from Jim Ryan. So this says here, the motivation behind Sony's acquisition of Bungie is to help boost their own abilities to make live service multi-platform games. Equally, Sony unlocks the potential to Bungie to strengthen its technical capabilities and the prospect of taking its games to movies and TV. So I mean, that's there too as well, because we know Sony is very big in the movie and TV sector. So now they're going to have this Destiny IP and whatever else comes along with that to make more entertainment within those mediums, which I mean, that is perfectly cool. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Then it continues on to say here, the deal was in the works for the past 5 to 6 months. It's not a reaction to the Take-Two, Zynga, or Microsoft Activision deals. And Jim Ryan told me we should expect more when it comes to further PlayStation acquisitions. And that's the very interesting thing there. I think this isn't something that is that surprising in general. You see the way that the industry is going. You see Microsoft out there acquiring big publishers, getting as many IPs as possible. You see Tencent doing the same thing, the Embracer Group, all of these big companies trying to get into the video game industry. And the future of gaming is going to be similar to what we see with the TV and the movie sector, where it's subscription based, and you're going to want to have new content every couple of weeks or so to get people to continuously log in. And in order to be able to position properly for that going forward, companies such as Sony, Microsoft are going to have to go out and purchase these big games, these big IPs, so that when they eventually do get into streaming, get into subscription, get into moving away from console exclusivity, which we currently see with PlayStation, they will have enough IPs to attract people over to their service. Now, PlayStation obviously has lots of great IPs already with their first party studios. However, at the same time, they're looking at what Xbox is doing. They're looking at the Activision Blizzard purchase. They're looking at the Bethesda purchase and just the amount of IPs Xbox now has to play with in order to continuously add new content to their service. And PlayStation is probably thinking that they're going to have to get more IPs in order to do that. And we know they are talking about Project Spartacus, which is going to be their streaming or subscription model service that they are going to rebrand and put out there again for people to see. They're most likely going to give us more information about that in the coming weeks or months or so. So now they have even more leeway with this type of purchase with Bungie. So it's very interesting to see what happens going forward. And also another thing to take away from this, I think, is that this here could also just be a bargaining chip for PlayStation when it comes to trying to get content that Xbox now owns onto their platforms. They could say, hey, you want this new piece of content for Destiny? Give us Call of Duty, give us whatever else is out there that maybe Xbox was planning to keep exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. So it'll be very interesting to see how all of this stuff goes down. We're in such a different era of video games compared to like 10, 15 years ago, where it was all about console exclusivity. That's all that mattered. That's all these companies were kind of jostling for. And now we see that it really isn't. It's about having IPs that could be experienced across multiple platforms, because you will make more money that way. You will have more people playing your games. You'll have more of their attention, as well as their continuous money flowing in through subscription, through games as a service. And we see PlayStation, we see Xbox really trying to position themselves for that future, which eventually, I mean, it's already here, but it will eventually continue to expand. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this acquisition of Bungie by PlayStation? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw throughout this video, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.